So welcome back everybody. In today's video we're going to do a full walkthrough of the specs and features on my brand new purchase, a Bobcat E35 R2 series. And this is a 2024 model. And for all of our everyday viewers, at the end of this we're going to explain why I went with this particular model, this particular brand, and cover all that information that you're looking for. Don't forget all the upcoming videos, we're putting this thing to work. We've got a lot of projects already laid out and planned for it. I am so excited to finally have me an excavator on the property. Let's go over the features. So let's do a quick walk around. This particular model right here, I got equipped with a 24-inch Bobcat bucket. I've also got a 12-inch bucket on the way that I'm going to be using for firewood, as well as digging up stumps, and I also have a 36-inch grading bucket because we have a lot of driveway repair to do. Now you can get multiple configurations of packages here. I've got mine set up with the long arm. You can see I've got it out here. This thing has a crazy extended reach. So whenever you get the long arm package like I got right here, you get an additional size counterweight that comes with the package from the factory. So even though this is a 3.5 ton class unit, set up as is over 8,300 pounds with a larger counterweight and this extended boom. Pretty much all the ones you're going to go look at the dealer are already set up with the extended boom. It's their most popular package. Plus being able to reach way out is so nice whenever it comes to digging. That's that much less that you have to move the machine. I can load higher equipment, higher side equipment, and I can dig up higher as well and into the tree limbs. So mine comes set up with a thumb. That is absolutely necessary for me with all the property cleanup, firewood, grabbing logs, everything else that we have. I also love that mine is already set up with the diverter valves and the extra hookups. That means I never have to disconnect my thumb. I've already got an attachment on the way that we're going to plumb right into this. Just turn these two right here and you divert flow away from the thumb directly to whatever attachment's on the front. Mine comes with the Bobcat manual quick coupler. I love this coupler right here. Super easy to change buckets. It's just a one-pin design. You unpin this, knock it out. There's catch tabs right here on the coupler, so you can just pick up your attachments, flip it around. Super easy to do. I got mine set up with your standard two-way dozer blade up and down. You can get a four-way. I'm not sure if they offer a six-way or not. Four-way was quite a bit more money. Couldn't really justify it, so I decided to go with the single dozer blade. This is going to be perfect for my needs. Since we're up here talking about the boom real quick, one thing I noticed, I have been looking at different brands. And y'all, to be perfectly honest with you, I was kind of said I was going to go with one of the higher quality Chinese brands to save some money. But after I started getting quotes and everything else in and looking at some of the stuff, it made much more sense to go with a name brand machine, not only for resale, but for build quality. And here's the crazy part. One of the Chinese machines I was looking at, well, it was only $5,000 less than this machine right here. I got a killer deal on this machine. I'll tell you about where I picked it up because you may want to go check these guys out. So whenever it come down to only being a few $1,000s difference for a nice name brand machine versus Chinese, that just went out the window. But I did look at popular other brands. I'll explain at the end of the video why this is the one that I went with. So the reason I brought all that up, if you're out shopping for a mini excavator, pay attention to things. First of all, this boom is just, it is massive, especially for a machine this size. So if you take a look at where all the pins go through, how heavy and reinforced that is, that's something that caught my eye, especially down here, like say on the pin for your thumb. I've looked at some Chinese machines that'll literally just use steel, drill a hole through it, and knock a pin through it. They don't even have wearable bushings. They don't have thick contact areas. All that stuff is extremely important. You're going to wind up with a very sloppy machine quickly by going with stuff that's built cheap like that. So just doing a quick once over, Bobcat's build quality actually impressed me the most of the ones that I was able to take a peek at. So as you can see, I got the cab version. I wound up going with the premium cab. I'll explain those features in a second. Stuck with rubber tracks, that'll be fine for my needs around here. Relatively easy to open up the hatch back here. This comes with a 24.8 horsepower Kubota. I was shocked to find. I actually had to look in there and find the tags. So my buddy Kyle over at Spicer Designs, he has a YouTube channel if you want to go check it out. Shockingly just bought one of these. We bought our same day and it was not planned. It's so crazy how that worked out. And we've been talking a lot here lately. We've become friends. Well, I thought this had a Bobcat style engine in it until he showed me where to find the tag in here. And we've got a Kubota in there. Great, very popular and common engines. The other thing I really like about this, everything is very easy to service. You do have to get underneath to get the oil filter, but it's very easy to get to. Fuel filters and all really easy to access, coolants, air filter. I really do like this setup. Like I said, the only thing I got to get underneath and get is my oil filter. But because I'm sticking with this horsepower range and this type of engine, well, the beautiful thing is no diesel particulate filter anywhere in here. It is Tier 4 compliant and it has no regen, none of that emission stuff. That's pretty popular because a lot of people like to idle excavators. Well, you definitely don't want to idle any diesel equipment with a DPF filter. This is something I have to deal with on my large tractor, and those filters are extremely expensive and they plug up quicker when you're not throwing the heat through them. So the other thing I really like, quick little latch right here, pop this open, and this rotates forward, giving you really nice access to everything on the machine. And this cover right here, you just unscrew 2 little screws right here, thumb hand screws, pop that off, and now you can access your radiators, blow and clean all that out. We take a look on this side. Here's your hydraulic reservoir with the easy to see sight glass, really nice and easy to fill. Fuse panel right here, windshield washer fluid. The only thing that looks like it's going to be very aggravating to change would be the battery in the future. Hopefully I get quite a few years out of this, because I'm assuming this whole side cover's got to come off to slide it out, which that looks like it's just hopefully 4 bolts. Maybe that's it. Might not be too complicated to change. Y'all, here's something else that you really need to be thinking about whenever you look at machines. And some of the popular brands don't even have this figured out. So if you look at all your valve banks and hydraulic connections in here, if you see all the larger connections down here, every single one of them, they're straight. Y'all, that's very important. A lot of machines will have 90-degree fittings, and guess what? That creates friction, additional heat. That is not good for your hydraulic system. I love that everything is nice and straight fittings. That really does make a difference. Here's my hydraulic filter, so it looks like when it's time to service that, we'll take this panel off as well. Quick shout out to Lepo Rents. This is the company I got mine from. Give you a number down here. They have dealerships all across the country, so check them out. I picked mine up in Midway, Florida at that dealership, and my salesman name was Quentin. By the way, I told him I had social media, and he said if I would send some people into him, if you'll ask for Quentin, tell him that you've seen it on our channel if you're shopping for one of these. He said he will offer you a discount. Check that out. By the way, I am not sponsored by Bobcat. I bought and paid for my machine. Just letting you know that up front. This is not a sponsored video like that, but these guys gave me the best quote of anybody. They beat the next closest dealer by thousands, literally. I did a lot of shopping around. They had the best price, the best service, no haggling, no hassle. It was actually a pleasurable experience. Typically, I hate going and buying stuff because you have to haggle back and forth for days. It was 2 phone calls, 2 discussions. The price, I could not complain with. Call Quentin at Lepo Rents over in Midway, Florida. It might be worth traveling over to him to buy as well. You're gonna see we got a door catch right here. Let's go ahead and take a peek inside the cab itself. So I got the premium cab. By the way, that door can lock open like this, so if we're in the fall or winter, this front window comes out up inside. These windows slide open, so you can open this cab if you need to communicate with someone else in the field, or if it ever cools off, I would love to open this up in the fall or winter. So they have a couple different cab configurations. Basically the premium cab, which was just what was on my dealer lot, so that's what I went with. It's got the headrest. We got a nice air ride seat, which I think that comes on the standard model anyways, but the headrest does not. We've got a nice touchscreen display here. I've got mixed feelings on this because it is electronics, but I have heard they've had really, really good luck with these electronics. By the way, since it's unbelievably hot, we're gonna get in here and turn some air on. So here's the thing about the premium touchscreen model here in the premium cab. No key to start, it's all electronic, but you have to put in a password right here. Now you're seeing a flicker on screen, which I do not see in person. That's because we're recording an LCD screen with a camera. All right, so my password's in. We can crank this up. Very nice and quiet. Full AC and heat. Here's our electronic throttle up and down. This button right here will actually kill the backup alarm, but it resets every time you stop the machine. So as long as you're traveling and press that, you can kill your backup alarm. Noise canceling microphone, because this one does have a built-in radio right here. This is our blade control, so we can raise and lower it. Alright, so as we take a look at the screen, you have all different types of gauges, you know, from battery, fuel. I really want to pay attention to my temperatures. I like this setup for the temperature gauges. Oh, the other thing I should mention, because this takes the password to start, well, you don't have the common key that's universal across a lot of brands and the majority of these pieces of equipment where somebody can steal it. So now they actually have to have the password to start. As long as these electronics hold up and we have no issues with those in the future, I think I'm going to be really, really happy with that. So there's all kinds of features in here. I don't know that we'll go over all of it. You've got Bluetooth and phone control. You control your lights from in here. There's a light down here and a light on the boom itself. This home control right here, you can change different settings up here on the screen. This is also touchscreen. But what I like about this is this rotating knob will also go across here. So if you have really dirty hands, grease on you, something like that, and don't want to touch the screen itself, you can rotate and actually use the knob. This has job clocks built in. Some of the other stuff that I really like about it too is you can look at your service schedule. It tells me when my next service is. I got to do a 50-hour break-in. And if you go to the service schedule itself, check this out. It tells you every single thing to check and do. So it's almost like you got your manual built in right here. Replace your hydraulic fluid, tells me it's doing 45 hours. I got to do it again at 500 hours. Travel motors, fuel filters. This is really awesome that I have a full service schedule built right into the screen. And of course, this does come with a paper manual as well. So phone controls, audio, has Bluetooth, stereo, all that good stuff. You have different attachment controls, all kinds of different settings in here as well. You can add a backup camera to this. Mine doesn't have it, but one feature that I really like about this, see my auxiliary controls here? Because I'm going to be adding multiple different types of attachments to the front side of this machine, I can go into a bunch of different presets, A through F, or we can go over here. See, here's a mower preset, grapple, tree shear, auger, all that. But long story short, we can go in and adjust our hydraulic flows from 0 to 100%. So B, for example, is where I like to leave it for my thumb control. If y'all see up there, that's how I like it. Because, for example, if I go up to 100%, I find the thumb way too fast. Of course, I'm not revved up at all. See how fast that is? So now we can slow it all the way down. Let's see how slow that is. Now where that's going to be important is you may want to control the flow to something like an auger or my thumb. I don't like a super fast thumb. But then there may be something like a mower that you'll put on there that you want your speed wide open. So you have all these different presets. And I like that we can go in 10% increments. That's a really nice feature. So you can press this button here, pull this entire window in, and it goes up here in the top. You can see we got a nice good view here because, well, see how far out? Even though with this being a Mini, look at that. Look how high I can dig. I don't know, what is that? 12, 14 feet up there. So it's really nice having this sight glass out the top. With this extra long arm on this machine, it's crazy how far out we can reach. These windows slide open, front and rear, cup holder here, windshield wiper control on this side. So some really nice features of a quality machine like this versus some of the Chinese machines I was looking at. Thumb control up here, that's what I want to see. A lot of the Chinese machines are in the floor, very awkward, and you don't get nice, smooth control. Button on the underneath side, this is to do full hydraulic flow. So say we had something like a mower on, for example, I can press this one button on the bottom side, continuous flow, I don't have to hold anything down. This button for rear camera if you have it added. This button over here is for the horn. This slide knob right here is to swing. Not all excavators have that feature, so you see what's going on now? Say if there was a house or a wall right there, I can pull up to it, reach over and actually dig along a wall of a house or fence, anything like that. That's a really, really handy feature. And y'all, I cannot get over how smooth these hydraulics are. So you just barely touch them, and I can feather this machine if I want. It rotates so nice and smooth, or we can really pick up the speed if we want. But keep in mind, I am revved all the way down right now. My RPMs are very low. And while I'm still learning this machine, it's just so smooth and easy to control. So you can drive forward by hand, or it comes with flip out foot pedals. So you can do forward or reverse with your feet. I like that when I'm doing long driving. So we can turn that beeper off. See that? This also has 2 speeds. That's what this button right here is for. So you can see how fast we're going right here. As soon as I press it, now the machine just picked up speed. Very comfortable air ride seat that you can pump up or down with this lever right here. Seat is adjustable forward and reverse. Actually, as small as this machine is, I found that I have adequate room in this cab. I can also see out of this very well. Not as many blind spots as I was expecting in an Excavator. All right, y'all, that concludes the walk around. That's all the important points. Now, for anybody that wants to stick around, especially our everyday viewers, let me explain why I went with this size machine, some of the other brands that I looked at, things I did and did not like about those, and my future plans with this. Plus, we've got some really cool attachments already coming and some jobs already lined up for this. So in conclusion, as I sit here in the cab, I'm feeling so thankful for this new machine. Why this one? Because this is not going to make a lot of sense to some people, and some people are going to think it's absolutely perfect. It's just the way the world works. So long story short, after looking at a lot of different brands out there, y'all know I'm a big John Deere fan, but John Deere, well, first and foremost, has completely priced themselves out of my business. Those machines with comparable specs that I could price out were about $20,000 more than this machine, and I did not see $20,000 more worth of value. I also looked at some Kubotas, but there were a few specs that weren't up to my standards, specifically hydraulic flows, although this is a relatively low flow machine, but I wanted to get as high of a hydraulic flow as I could. And believe it or not, the Chinese machine actually offered that, but I did not go with it for various reasons. Lifting capacities were very important for me because I'm going to be asking a lot of this size machine for lifting firewood and everything else. Breakout force for digging. This has one of the best breakout forces I could see, like 1,000 pound-feet more, for example, than I could see the specs for a John Deere 35G. So I looked at a lot of different things. Obviously, dealer's important. I really want to try Hyundai, to be perfectly honest with you. Problem is, closest dealer to me was about 275 miles. So at that point, I'd have been better off going with like a Chinese machine if I'm going to be my own mechanic. This particular machine has a dealer within 50 miles of me. Again, I highly recommend them. They were awesome, easy to deal with. Decent inventory, got parts right there, can send a mechanic right out to you. That's very important when you're buying something that's expensive. Not to mention, again, their price was amazing compared to everybody else that I checked with. So the specs look really good for this size machine. The dealership network, the price, that's the biggest reasons right there. All right, so plans for this machine. Why do I have this? Well, a lot of the people who watch the channel already know there's so much property maintenance to do. Again, I keep telling you, we're going to do a little traveling. We're going to go help some friends clean up property. We have trees to push over here. We have stumps to clear out. This is going to be a huge helper for firewood. We're out here underneath my firewood barn right now. This is going to allow me to pick up, move logs, help me with logging, hold logs up while I cut them, move heavy rounds over to the log splitter, save my back. This thing is going to get a lot of use for that. That's probably the number 2 reason I've got an excavator. Number 3 reason, general property maintenance. We got to fix our driveway that's constantly washing out. This is going to be huge for that. We got some trees we got to take down that are in a very dangerous situation. We've got culverts to put in, trails to maintain, all kinds of stuff. But to be perfectly honest with you, the number 1 reason I got an excavator is for limb maintenance and clearing. So we're actually going to be getting a mower for this. Again, that's why hydraulic specs were important to me. There were a couple of other machines with better specs, but there were several with worse specs, and we're already on the low end of hydraulic flow for cutters, for tree trimming. I literally have miles of tree lines around here alone that I have to maintain every single year. Now, in the comfort of a cab, we can go along and take care of that. So why didn't I go with a larger machine? A larger machine is going to lift more. It's going to have better hydraulic flow for a cutter, so it just makes perfect sense to go with a larger machine, right? Well, 2 reasons. 1, price. This is already a very expensive piece of equipment for Tiffany and I to purchase for the property. The next size machine up is about $15,000 to $20,000 more. The number 1 reason I did not go with a larger machine. This one with the long arm, which I wanted. The heavier counterweight, which I wanted, is already well over 8,000 pounds. And for a 14,000 pound trailer, like my dump trailer, for example, we're going to wind up getting an equipment trailer for this as well. In order to stay under CDL weight restrictions with a 3/4 ton truck, I really cannot tow a 20,000+ pound trailer, which is what I'll need for the next size up machine. Everybody looks at the tonnage classes, 3.5 ton, they think 7,000 pounds. No, well over 8,000 pounds. Now add an attachment on there, or an extra attachment you want to put on your trailer, and I'm maxing out the 9,000 to 10,000 pounds of available capacity on a 14,000 pound trailer. Next size up machine, most of those are 10.5 to 11,000 pounds before attachments. You can see we're way over the spec rated for trailers, and I don't like overloading trailers. Not to mention, my older truck is not going to want to pull something that heavy. So if we've got to get a bigger trailer or even a bigger truck, now I've got to get a CDL just to tow that stuff. So I know a lot of our viewers have been telling me for years to get one of these. There's so many attachments for these, y'all. So many attachments, from firewood attachments to fencing attachments to mowers to augers to construction equipment. The sky is the limit. It's going to blow your mind, things that we're going to get down the road that this is going to help assist us with. So to all the viewers that have been so excited and telling me for years I need to get one, I've got one. And all of y'all, thank y'all so much. We love and appreciate y'all so much. It's because of the success of our social media and y'all watching that we're able to do things like this and maintain such a beautiful piece of property. We don't take it for granted. We love and appreciate y'all. All right, y'all, I'm excited. I finally got my dream piece of equipment. I have so many cool videos in the works, so much stuff planned. We're about to get to work now. We have all kinds of new and fresh content coming that can't do nothing but help the channel and give y'all something new and fresh to watch. Thank y'all for watching. Catch you on the next one. Oh, and if you're interested in watching more Bobcat content, I'll put Kyle's channel down in the description. Go support him. He's a great dude. And again, if you want any information on pricing of these and the equipment itself, I'm going to put Quentin's information down there over at Lepo Rents. We appreciate the deal, the service, and everything else that he gave us. So Quentin, if you're watching this, thanks again.